Hi, and welcome to the Beginner Yoga Series with Global Oasis Yoga. This is the Track 1 Foundations class, the first of 4 classes in our Beginner Yoga series. If you're brand new to yoga or movement in general, you are in the right place. If you're currently active but new to yoga, you can find the link for our Track 2 series in the written description below this video. Here in Track 1, you don't need flexibility, strength, or experience. You just need to be breathing and have the willingness to start. We'll be moving slowly and we'll repeat things on purpose from class to class. As we move, I want you to focus on how your body is feeling and take breaks when you need them. This is completely optional, but I recommend that before we start, you hit pause on the video and grab a bolster or a regular pillow and a folded blanket and a chair to have nearby. We will begin seated on the mat, or if you prefer not to get up and down from the floor, grab a chair and start and end the class in a chair. We will have a standing portion in the middle of the class. If you're beginning this class seated, you may wish to grab that bolster pillow I talked about earlier and place it under your hips. That may take a little bit of stress off of the knees. If you choose to use the bolster, make sure you're using it directly under your sit bones, your hips, rather than the tops of the thighs. That way, your hips can be just a little bit higher than your knees. Traditionally, breathing in yoga is done through the nose, both your inhales and your exhales. We're going to practice that to start. Place the hands on the lower belly, close the eyes, and breathe. As you do so, focus on trying to make the belly expand as you inhale through the nose. Fill the lungs all the way to the top. And as you exhale, work on making the belly contract. Let's try that again on the inhale. Feel the fingers move as your belly expands. And then on your exhale, feel the belly contract. One last time, deep breath in through the nose. And slow and even exhale through the nose, feeling the belly contract. Wonderful. You can keep the eyes closed if you'd like, or slowly blink them open. Hands can come to the knees. Let's begin our movement by dropping the chin to the chest. Sweep the right ear over the right shoulder. Allow the head to come behind you. And take the left ear to the left shoulder. Let's make that a little bit more fluid, rotating the head in one direction. Being gentle with your movements. If a particular area starts to feel tricky, skip it. And change the direction of your circles. Come to stillness, bring the head back to center. Roll the shoulders back, lifting them up towards your ears, pulling them behind you, lowering them down and forward. Taking that movement a few more times. And now roll the shoulders forward. Wonderful. Place the right hand outside of the right hip. Bend into the right arm and stretch the left arm over the head and over the ear. If you find that your chest has started to rotate down towards the mat or to your knee, straighten that right arm so that your chest is still facing forward. And roll the left shoulder open. Finding a side bend here, lengthening in the left side body. Remembering to breathe through the nose, long and steady inhales and exhales. Use the strength of your side body to lift back up to neutral, and let's find that same thing on the opposite side. Planting the hand outside of the hip, reaching the right arm over the right ear this time, rolling the right shoulder open. Come back to seated up tall, engaging the core muscles to see if you can grow just a little bit taller in the spine. And take the left hand and place it on the right knee. Take that right hand just outside the right hip again and twist to the right. As you do so, gaze over your right shoulder. Using the activation of your core, your abdomen, to hold you in position and keep the spine lengthening, reaching the top of the head for the space above you. You'll feel some work happening in your core muscles as they help to hold you in place and to hold you sitting up tall. Gently release from that side and change to the side, to the second side. And on the exhale, release the twist and come back to center. Next, we'll be making our way to hands and knees if you're on the mat. If you're seated in the chair, just continue to watch the photos in the corner for how to proceed. If you would benefit from support under the knees, now's the time to grab your folded up blanket. You can also double the thickness of your mat and use that to support your knees as well. Okay, in order not to stress our wrists, we want to be sure to activate our fingers here and try to distribute our body weight between all of the surface area that's touching the mat. All right, so this may feel unusual on your fingers. They may tire easily in the beginning, but they will start to build up muscles just like every other part of your body, and it will become more natural over time. We're going to move into what is called cat and cow. To begin with cat, what we're doing is we are rounding the spine, we're tucking our tailbone, and we're lowering our chin towards our chest. We want to visualize the shoulder blades on the back spreading apart from one another. And now on our inhale, we're going to reverse that action. So we're going to arch the spine. We're going to lower the chest in between the shoulders, reach our sit bones up towards the ceiling, and lift the gaze slightly. Let's exhale and repeat that. Round the spine, separate the shoulder blades, tuck the chin. tuck the tailbone lightly. Inhale, find your cow pose. Arch the spine, lift the gaze just a little bit. Reach the sit bones, which are the bony bits that you usually sit on. Reach those towards the sky. And then exhale, round the spine. And inhale, arch the spine. One more round. On the exhale, round the spine. And as you inhale, arch the spine. From our hands and knees, next we're going to make our way into a half kneeling position with the right foot in front of us. So what that's going to look like is we're going to come to standing on the knees. Chair is here for support if you'd like it. Or you can reach back and grab the right foot with your hand and bring it forward. Once you get to this position, your hips are directly stacked above your ankle. Your back foot can either be flattened, so the top of your foot is pressing into the mat, or you can be on the ball of the foot, gripping the mat. Your rib cage and your hips are pointed directly forward. Hands again can be on the chair for support if you're feeling like that would be helpful. You can also place the hands on the top of the right thigh. Make sure that you're working on taking the action of separating the collarbones gently from one another and reaching the shoulder blades towards one another. From here, we're going to rock the hips forward and come into a lunge type shape. So we're feeling a stretch in the left hip flexor, or the top of the left thigh here. Continuing to breathe through the nose. Feeling a nice opening there. You can also place the hands on the waist if that feels nice. Draw the hips back so they're back to being directly over top of the knee. And let's change sides. Another option to change sides is just placing the hands on the ground and sliding the foot back to move into side two. Of course, you can always use the chair for support. Start with the hips directly over the knee. Find your balance. And then shift the hips forward, stretching the right hip flexor this time. Keep a slight tuck in the tailbone. Breathing here. Beautiful. Release the stretch. Lift the hips back so they're stacked above the knees. We're going to come to standing next. Chair for support, of course. Another idea would be to slide the feet together. Put the hands on the mat. Tuck the toes. Walk yourself back and straighten the legs. No rush to get there. When you find your standing position, come to the top of your mat. If you're in the chair, meet us standing at the top of the mat as well. Separate the feet hip-width distance. Grow tall through the spine. Gently work on drawing the collarbones away from one another and the shoulder blades together on the back. Long and slow inhales and exhales through the nose still. And the core is gently engaged. The next time you find an inhale, Let's take the arms out to the sides and sweep them up overhead, bringing the palms to touch if they can, or arms separate. Your gaze can lift up towards the sky or the ceiling. As you exhale, lower the arms back down. Place the hands on the thighs for support. We're going to find a forward fold. Hinge at the waist. Walk the hands down the legs if you'd like. You want to keep a micro bend in the knees and land wherever it feels engaging but supported. Once you're in your forward fold, you can allow the head to hang heavy, feeling the vertebrae separate from one another in the neck, the cervical spine area. You'll also feel length happening in the backs of the legs, of course. Let's bend deeper in the knees and roll all the way to standing slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae. Once you get to the top, let's inhale and sweep the arms out and up again. Hug the navel to the spine. And then exhale, hands come back down. Let's find that forward fold one more time. Hinging at the waist. Hands for support if you'd like on the thighs, or let the arms dangle. Continuing to breathe through the nose. Another option here is to grab opposite elbows. Bend deeper into the knees, roll all the way to standing, vertebrae by vertebrae. Once you get to the top, we're going to find what is called Warrior One pose. Shift the weight into the left foot. Once you feel stable, slide the right foot behind you. You can also step the right foot back if you'd like. Chair is here for balance and support. Once your stance is wide enough, rotate the right foot so that it's flat, first of all, and rotate the toes out so that they're at a 45-degree angle and pointed towards the top right corner of the mat. You want to shift your body so that the rib cage is still pointed to the top of the mat. And then begin to bend into the left leg. If you find that your knee starts to go in front of your ankle, you might want to widen your stance a little bit more so that your knee is directly above the ankle. Again, rib cage is rotated to the top of the mat, shoulders are squared off. Hands can be at the waist here. If you're feeling stable and comfortable, you may also lift the arms up overhead. Remembering to breathe. The next time you exhale, if your hands are lifted, exhale to lower the hands down. We're going to step back to the top of the mat. So heel toe the back foot in if you'd like. Once you feel like you can lift that foot, step it back to the top. Let's try that same thing on side two. Get yourself set up by shifting the weight into the right leg this time. Core is still engaged. Left toes become light. Step or slide. Foot goes behind you. Bend into the right knee as much as you feel comfortable with. If you find again that the knee tracks over the ankle, back out of it and maybe step a little bit further behind you with that left leg. Left foot is flat and the toes are pointed to the left top corner of the mat. Remember that the rib cage is squared off to the top of the mat and the shoulders are as well. Slight tuck of the tailbone here. Warrior one. Exhale to lower their arms if they're lifted. Let's step back to the top of the mat. Heel toe the foot in, use the chair, whatever you'd like to do. Back to mountain pose at the top of the mat. We're now going to come back down to the mat or to your chair. One way to get there is through a forward fold. Bend into the knees, plant the hands, and make your way down to seated. Another way is to come alongside the chair, use it for support, and lower yourself down. You find the best way to get there for your body where you are today. Once you're on the mat, sit with the legs extended out in front of you. The weight is equally distributed between the right and the left sit bone. Okay, so if you find that you naturally want to lean off to one side, most of us do, catch yourself and even it out. All right, and what we're doing next is finding a supported forward fold. So grab a pillow if you have one. You don't have to use a pillow if you don't want to. But if you don't have a pillow, you can maybe rest the elbows on the thighs. All we're doing here is keeping the legs straight, walking the hands forward, and just finding a gentle forward fold here. As you do so, think about drawing the chest towards the front of the mat as opposed to rounding the spine. Think about lengthening the spine instead of rounding it. You can also concentrate on continuing to roll the shoulders open instead of collapsing them in towards the ground. Walk the hands back up the legs to release from that forward fold. And set the bolster aside or pillow aside. Leave the left leg extended long. Bend the right leg and place the bottom of the right foot on the inside of the left thigh. And we'll repeat a forward fold with our chest centered over the left leg. Walking the hands forward, keeping the gaze lifted and the chest moving forward. Breathing here through the nose, long and steady inhales and exhales. Release the stretch and take that to side two. Extending the right leg this time. And folding forward with the chest centered over the right leg. Beautiful. Release that stretch. Extend both legs long. Bend the right knee. Place the top of the right ankle on the left knee. Plant the hands behind you and bend the left knee this time so that we come into a figure four type stretch. If you find this is quite dramatic, you can separate the hands and the feet as much as necessary to feel easy but engaged. We're feeling a stretch happening in the right outer hip here. If it feels like you would like more intensity, walk the feet and the hands closer together, the left foot and the hands closer together. You can bend into the left knee as much as you'd like, shortening the distance between the chest and the shin. If you find that your shin is not parallel to the chest, you need to take the feet and the hands a little bit further apart so that your shin remains parallel to the chest and to the mat. It may be engaging enough to not bend into that left leg. Figure out what feels right for your body today. You are in charge of how you feel, and make adjustments accordingly. Release from the stretch, uncross, and recross for side 2. Again, shortening or lengthening the distance between the right foot and the hands to suit how you're feeling today. Ease out of that stretch. We are going to wrap up our class with what's called Shavasana, or a final resting pose. We do this lying on the back. If you're seated in your chair, go ahead and stay there. Close the eyes, sit back towards the back of the chair so that you can relax completely. If you're on the mat, go ahead and roll your spine down, vertebrae by vertebrae, all the way to the ground. Take the feet as wide as the mat and the arms next to the sides. Our first goal here in Shavasana is to completely relax our muscles. So do a mental body scan and see where you are subconsciously contracting your muscles to hold yourself in position. Even though you're resting on the floor, sometimes we're still engaging our muscles just a little bit. So walk through the body, find out where you can release and relax just a little bit more. One of the other goals of Shavasana is to exercise our mind. So we have just exercised our bodies, and now we are going to exercise our minds. And what I mean by that is to keep your mind focused on one thing that pertains to being here on the mat or in your chair. So that might look like your breathing. You might want to pay attention to your breathing, work on increasing the amount of air that you can take in. It might look like scanning through the body to find out where you can relax a little bit more. But what we want to do is we want to keep our mind focused. We're exercising, focusing our minds rather than allowing them to wander off into what is next in the day. Those things will still be there in a few moments. So take this time, exercise your mind, and let's breathe here in silence for a few more seconds. Feel free to continue to lay on your mat or sit in your chair with your eyes closed. I'm going to make my way back to seated now as we wrap up our time here. If you're wanting to come to seated with me, bend into the knees, Draw the knees towards the chest. Give yourself a nice hug. And then roll onto one side or another and press back up to seated. Hey, congratulations on making it through to the end of this foundations class and beginning your yoga journey. I post one new class per week and I rotate levels. So what that means is if you're watching this video right after it's been released, you'll see the second in the series in 3 weeks. If that feels like a long time, remember that muscle memory occurs when the nervous system begins to recognize what's ahead. So if this class felt supportive to you, repeat it 2 to 3 times per week over the next several weeks. You can use it in rotation with some short walks, some light stretching, or even explore some of the other beginner level 1 or level 1-2 classes on this channel. If you hit the free subscribe button below, you'll receive notification when the next video is released. I'm super glad that you joined me today, and I hope you feel encouraged to continue moving. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Enjoy your day.